Well, Senate Republicans say Democrats are the ones that are blocking efforts to reopen the Department of Homeland Security as those airport disruptions grow and security threats rise in this country. For more, let's bring in Democratic Congressman from Virginia, James Walkinshaw. Congressman, great to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
So we're hearing from travelers who are obviously very frustrated. I think the airport out in Arizona was going through a lot of long lines. I think a 3-hour wait for some folks trying to check in. Do you see how Republicans are blaming Democrats for this, these long lines at the airports, but also, you know, in a place where we need the Department of Homeland Security to root out any threats to the nation?
Well, I think two points that I would make. One, you know, we're having an important debate and discussion and negotiation right now about ICE and CBP and immigration enforcement. There's no reason that should be impacting our TSA workers, our FEMA workers, our cybersecurity workers, and others. And that's why Democrats have put forward legislation to fund all of those other agencies. As you know, ICE and CBP have more money than they know what to do with from the so-called big beautiful bill. We should be negotiating around the immigration enforcement reforms that I think the American people want and funding all of these other agencies. And with respect to national security, I got to tell you, long before this shutdown, the Trump administration has been dismantling many of the national security functions at DHS. CISA, they got rid of 1,000 of our cybersecurity experts who could be there today protecting us from the cyber threats from the Iranian regime. They pushed them out.
Why didn't Democrats do this a month ago? I mean, why didn't they reach out to Republicans, say, look, like we can have this policy talk on the side, but we're not going to keep TSA workers from being funded? Why didn't that happen a month ago? Do you think this was a bad negotiating decision?
Well, I don't know if it's been a month, but certainly for several weeks now, Democrats have been saying, let's fund the other agencies in DHS and continue to negotiate around ICE and CBP. There wasn't a vote in the Senate and in the House until this week, but Democrats have been putting that forward and trying to get that on the table for weeks now.
So your Democratic colleague in the Senate, Alyssa Slotkin, made some news this week because she said that it's time for Democrats to fund DHS, as you are saying as well. Here she is. Let's listen.
I would just say the department, because they are essential workers, they have been, you know, at work. Certainly in Michigan, we have a ton of DHS folks, CBP, and so they are on the call and they are doing their jobs. Certainly, we need to fund the Department of Homeland Security, and we need, in my view, to cut away all the conversation on ICE, which is its own conversation.
Do you think that the House Democratic Conference can get on the same page as Senate Democrats? You guys have a lot of progressives, a big progressive wing that doesn't like ICE at all, and may not want to lose this leverage, this moment of leverage they have.
Well, we put a motion on the floor last week, House Democrats did, to do just that, to fund those other DHS agencies. And I think almost every Democrat in the House voted for it and every Republican in the House voted against it. So maybe there are a couple of exceptions, but overwhelmingly House Democrats are on that page. That's what we want to see happen.
Okay. I want to turn to this attack on a synagogue and the rise in anti-Semitism that we're seeing across the country. This is a headline about it from the New York Times. It says instances of anti-Semitism have increased substantially in recent years, according to the Anti-Defamation League. The organization recorded more than 9,300 cases across the country in just 2024, the latest year such data was available. That was the highest number since records of those incidents began in 1979. And security experts say that when conflicts erupt in the Middle East, threats against Jewish communities in the U.S. and elsewhere often follow. Just before I let you go, I want to just get your thoughts on that and your message to the Jewish American community.
It is outrageous and unacceptable. Hate in any form, anti-Semitism is unacceptable. What I've done in my community when we've had incidents is bring together faith leaders from across the spectrum, Jewish leaders, Protestant leaders, imams from mosques and others, to stand together as one community and say, we reject anti-Semitism, we reject hate. I think that's what all of us as Americans have to do.
Are you worried, Congressman, that we're going to see a potential terrorist attack, God forbid, if we don't get DHS funded quickly?
I'm deeply worried about the impact of Director Patel forcing out some of our key counterterrorism, counterintelligence agents at the FBI for political reasons. We have cut ourselves off at the knees in terms of our ability to prevent and respond to these kind of attacks by decimating many of the highly regarded, highly professional agents at the FBI
You think
that prevent
the director
precisely
of the
these kind of
FBI
attacks.
would be at fault if something were to happen here in the homeland?
Yes, if
And
you
not
force.
the fact that Democrats are holding DHS hostage?
Well, it's the director of the FBI, not Democrats, who has fired and forced out counterterrorism agents at the FBI because he didn't like cases they worked on in 2022. So, yes, if something were to happen with respect to terrorism, his decision to fire counterterrorism agents would be a factor.
I think there are thousands of TSA workers that are directly impacted by this Homeland Security funding. They're not getting their paychecks. I think that has a bigger impact. But thank
Well,
you
they should
very
get their
much.
paycheck.
Yes,
should
they're
get-
all impacted. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.